So if it balances the osmotic pressure of the cytoplasm, it is said to be isotonic in nature. The cytoplasm will shrink, resulting the plasma membrane also shrinks, resulting in the shrinkage of the cell. Here water molecule is occurring along a concentration gradient. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to another session on chapter 11, that is transport in plants. I'm Dr. Divya, biology faculty, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysore, Temple of Excellence. So in the previous session of this chapter, we had studied about the water potential, wherein we learned how important water potential is for the transport of water across the cells of a plant. And we also learned that water potential has two important components called as the solute potential and the pressure potential, which are very, very important for the water potential to act well. And we learned that the water potential of a pure water is always equal to 0, whereas that of a solute, that is, it is negative, whereas the pressure potential is always positive. And that is why no matter how concentrated a solution is, in spite of that, from that solution, the pressure potential allows the movement of water through two different parts of the plant body. And we also learned that they are represented by symbols, that is psi W for water potential, psi S for solute potential, and psi P for pressure potential. In today's session, apart from diffusion, water potential, there are also other factors that actually, or other processes that actually helps in the transport of water in plants. We shall study about osmosis, plasmolysis, and a term called as imbibition. So we shall begin with studying about osmosis. So what is this osmosis? So the osmosis, we know that it is almost similar to that of diffusion. So in diffusion, what happened? There was these water molecules or the gaseous molecules which moved from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration, and it was a passive transport, right? Meaning there was no energy involved in the transportation process. Just like that, osmosis also, there is movement of water molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration, but only thing here is it is through a selectively permeable membrane. We all know that the plasma membrane of an animal as well as a plant, they are selectively permeable in nature. They will not allow all the particles to enter into or move out of the cell, right? They are selective in nature. That is when the osmosis comes to help, wherein it allows the water molecules to move into the plant or the animal cells through the semi-permeable membrane. That is the only difference here. The movement of water from higher concentration to lower concentration is same as in diffusion, but only thing is here semi-permeable membrane is involved. So that is through a selectively permeable membrane. So osmosis, it occurs spontaneously in response to a driving force. There is a force or a pressure being involved, and the rate of osmosis or direction of osmosis means the movement of water or the direction of osmosis, and the rate of osmosis depends on the pressure gradient. So we had studied about the water, that is the pressure potential and all that in the previous session. Not just the pressure potential, but also the concentration gradient, that is the solute potential. So all these also play a major role in the osmotic potential of a particular cell. So here we know that the water will move from a region of higher chemical potential or concentration to a region of lower chemical potential until equilibrium is reached. So once the equilibrium is reached, the two chambers should have the same water potential. So as you can see in this diagram, say for example, we have taken a big vessel here or a big beaker, and in between this we have put a membrane that is selectively permeable. So this one that we see, it is the selectively permeable. Now we need to see how much water molecules will move towards this side and what happens. So here, say in A, there is concentrated sugar solution. So when I say sugar solution, it means there is what? How do you make a sugar solution? So there is water. To that water you will add sugar and you'll dissolve it. Now you have a sugar solution, right? So water is also there in that, sugar is also there in that. So therefore here what is there? Water molecules are also there as well as sugar or solute molecule. What is the solute molecule here? It is sugar, because I've taken the example of sugar as a solute here. So water molecules are also there, sugar molecules are also there. Here it is a concentrated sugar solution. Remember, while talking about water potential, I had told you, in a solution, the concentration of the solute will be more and the water molecules will be less. Here also, the one side of the chamber, there is concentrated sugar solution, and once other side of the chamber, there is a dilute sugar solution. Means not that concentrated, it is a dilute sugar solution. So now imagine both the containers also, and in between it is separated by a semi-permeable membrane. So towards container A also there is sugar, towards container B also sugar is there, and water molecules are also there. But in concentrated sugar solution, the water molecule is less and sugar molecule is more, or solute molecule is more. In dilute sugar solution also sugar molecules are there, but sugar molecules are less. In this, sugar molecules are less and water molecules are more. Right? Now, it has to balance between the two. So what happens here is, now an equilibrium has to attain. So what happens here is, from this particular chamber, the water molecule. So what did I tell you? We are talking about the movement of water molecules. So we are talking about the water concentration here. Here water concentration is more. Here water concentration is less. Means from the region of higher water concentration, it has to move towards the region of the lower water concentration, passing through the semi-permeable membrane, right? So here these water molecules will start moving towards the region of the lower concentration wherein the water molecules are low. Up till when will it move? It will move up till an equilibrium is attained, up till both of these have the same amount of water molecules. So that is nothing but osmosis process. So osmosis, at equilibrium, the two chambers should have the same water potential. Now the water potential here as well as here, it will be same, because here if there is, say for example, 10 water molecules, here also 10 water molecules will be there. So that is about water potential. So no matter what is the concentration of the solution that is added here, wherever the water molecules are more, from that region it will move to the region where the water molecule is less. That is from the region of higher water concentration to a region of the lower water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane until a equilibrium is attained. Means until both the chambers have equal amount of the water molecules in them. So this is about osmosis. So this osmosis can again be explained by a simple experiment wherein they have demonstrated osmosis using Thissell funnel. So this is the Thissell funnel experiment. So what they have done is, to the Thissell funnel, they have filled sucrose solution. So this is a Thissell funnel. Can you see a funnel shaped structure at the base? It is inverted. So they have filled sucrose solution. Now this is filled with sucrose solution. So sucrose solution means sucrose molecules are more, water molecules. So sucrose solution means sucrose molecules are more, water molecule is less here. So what here they have put sucrose solution and they have taken a beaker. If you can see here, they have taken a beaker and in this beaker they have put pure water. So in the beaker what it is? Pure water, the water potential is equal to 0. Here sucrose solution, it is negative, right? This is negative. Why? Because it is a solute potential. It is negative. Here it is water potential, pure water, which is always equal to 0. So in the beaker, they have taken pure water, and in the Thissell funnel, so this is the Thissell funnel. Thissell funnel. And in the Thissell funnel, they have filled it with sucrose solution. Now what happens here is, and they have put it inverted into a beaker containing water. So here what happens here is, now where is the water molecules more? Here, right? The water molecule is more here. Why is it more here? Because it is pure water. There are no solute particles at all in this particular water in the beaker. So in the beaker, water molecule is more, and here the water molecules are less, right? Why? Because it is a sucrose solution. Sugar molecules are more. I'll just write it here. Water molecules are less. Here in this beaker, water molecules, they are more. Right. So here what happens in this case, the water will start to diffuse across the membrane. So you can see they have covered the mouth of the Thissell funnel with a semi-permeable membrane. So this is the semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable or selectively permeable membrane. So they've covered a membrane. How did they get this membrane? So this membrane is actually the membrane of the egg. So you know that whenever you're trying to peel a boiled egg, have you noticed that you find a plastic like covering, right? So that is nothing but the semi-permeable membrane. So that they have taken and they have covered the mouth of the Thissell funnel, and in an inverted position they have put it inside this beaker containing pure water. Therefore the water molecules are more in that. So now what will happen according to osmosis? According to osmosis, the water molecules has to move from a region of higher concentration, because concentration of water molecule is more in the beaker here. So it has to move from the region of higher concentration to the region of the lower concentration. Region of the lower concentration means it has to move from here towards the Thissell funnel. Why? Because in the Thissell funnel, the water molecules are less, whereas the solute molecules are more, right? So that is why it will start to move. And what will happen? It will start to raise the level of water in the Thissell funnel. In the Thissell funnel, the water level will rise, and in the beaker, the water level will increase. So what happened? What happened here? A Thissell funnel is filled with sucrose solution and it is kept inverted in a beaker containing pure water. So in the pure water, since large amount of water molecules are there, the concentration of water molecule is high here, it will move towards the Thissell funnel. Why? Because in that the concentration of water molecule is less. It will diffuse across the membrane and it will raise the water level of the solution in the funnel. So that is it is understood now. It is moving from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So this experiment proves osmosis. Next, what they did in one more set of experiment was, they started to apply pressure from the top. So when a pressure was applied from the top, the movement of water into the funnel completely stopped. So therefore, the osmosis always depends on the pressure potential. So here you can see, when a pressure was applied from the top through the Thissell funnel, the movement of water. Now again here what should have happened? Here water molecules are more. Here it is less, right? So water should have moved here. But because of the pressure that was applied here, the movement of water from the beaker to that of the funnel had completely stopped. So that is the experiment they had conducted. So this pressure, it is nothing but this pressure is the osmotic pressure. So it means that greater the concentration of the solution in this particular funnel, the greater the pressure should be applied. So therefore, the osmotic pressure also plays a very important role here. So this experiment actually states how during the process of osmosis, how water moves from a region of lower concentration to that of the higher concentration. So this was explained by the Thistle funnel experiment. So next we shall talk about one more process of plant water transport, which is called as the plasmolysis. So let's study about plasmolysis, which is also one of the important components of the water transport. So here the behavior of the plant actually depends on the water movement. So it depends on the water movement, and that water movement depends on the surrounding solution. So how the water moves depending on the surrounding solution here. So there are three types of different solution. One is the isotonic solution, the hypotonic solution, and the hypertonic solution. So in the case of isotonic solution, if the external solution balances the osmotic pressure. So if the osmotic pressure has to be balanced, then both the solution should be in the same concentration, right? So if it balances the osmotic pressure of the cytoplasm, it is said to be isotonic in nature. Say for example, I'll take a beaker. In this beaker, there is solution and there are cells in this. So what did we say? And here the external solution that is there is isotonic. It is isotonic. So this is also a solution. Say for example, this is also a sugar solution. And this is also a sugar solution. Right? And also here I'll take the example of the blood, that is RBC, red blood cells. So red blood cells, they also contain sugar, right? And they have cytoplasm wherein they also contain the sugar. And here what happens, what it means, the external solution should balance the osmotic pressure. So here the external solution balances the osmotic pressure. Why? Because here the concentration of sugar solution in the external medium is same when compared to the concentration of the sugar solution in the RBC. Why? Because the concentration of sugar solution here as well as here is both same. They are balanced. So therefore, it balances the osmotic pressure of the cytoplasm in this particular cell. Therefore, there is equal movement of water. So therefore, it is isotonic in nature. Next, talking about hypotonic solution. Therefore, it is isotonic in nature, and the net movement of water in the case of isotonic solution, net movement of water is equal to 0. So that is the concept behind this isotonic solution. Now talking about hypotonic solution. Here, if the external solution is more dilute than the cytoplasm, it is called as hypotonic. So what it means? Say again, I am taking a beaker here. There are cells in this particular solution. So here and here, in the external medium, it is hypotonic. Hypotonic means the external solution is dilute. Say here it is dilute sugar solution. Here it is concentrated sugar solution. So here what happens? The water molecules, how it will move? It will move from the region of, here the water molecules are more in the hypotonic solution. It has a dilute concentration of sugar. The water molecules here it is more, whereas here the water molecules here it is more, whereas in this particular beaker here in the cells it is less. right? So therefore, the movement of water molecules will occur from the hypotonic solution, this particular, where towards the cells, wherein the cells will start to absorb water. That is hypotonic solution here. Next, talking about hypertonic solution. So hypertonic solution here, if the external solution is more concentrated, it is hypertonic. So here what will happen? The cells swell in the hypotonic solution and shrink in the hypertonic ones. The best example I can give you of is the grapes, right? So we will go into that. Before that, I'll tell you about hypertonic solution. So hypertonic solution, here there are cells. Okay. So here there are cells. So or else we'll not talk about RBC. To make it easy to understand, I'll take the example of resins. So we all soak resins in water, right? At night we soak it. By the time morning when we see, it will be swollen. So the resins will be swollen. Will they get ruptured? No, they will not get ruptured. Why? Because resins, they are a plant component, right? So therefore, they have a cell, that is cell wall. And the cell wall is so rigid that it will help the cells to become bulged, but it will not break open the cell. So that is one concept here. So here what happens, there is, in the case of isotonic solution, say there are grapes soaked in this, that is resins are soaked. So here the size of the resin will remain the same. So to make you clearly understand, isotonic solution, here I have taken a beaker, I have put sugar solution here. The concentration of sugar solution in the beaker and in that of the external medium, both are same. Therefore, the solution is isotonic here. Okay. So here what happens, since the concentration of both the sugar solution in both these regions are same, the amount of water molecules that are present will also be same, right? So therefore here there is no net movement of water, and therefore the size of the resins that have been soaked will remain the same as it is, because there is neither the water is being absorbed by the resin nor it is lost by the resin. So that is why the net movement of water will be zero. When talking about the hypotonic solution, say in the beaker, I have taken resins and I have put resins in a concentrated sugar solution. So here the resins I have put to concentrated sugar solution, but the sugar solution in the external medium, it is hypotonic, means it is dilute. So what happens here? In the dilute sugar solution, what happens? The water molecules are more, right? Sugar molecules are less. But in the concentrated sugar solution, sugar molecules are more, water molecules are less. So what happens according to the theory? There is transport of water from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So which is the region of higher concentration here? Hypotonic solution, right? So from the external medium, which is hypotonic, it will move towards the lower concentration. So here the resins will start to absorb water and it will swell. So that is what it means, is that cells swell in a hypotonic solution. So it will swell. Whereas hypertonic solution, here the external medium that is there, it is hypertonic. Hyper means it has concentrated solution. It is a concentrated solution. What example I took here for a solute? It was concentrated sugar solution. Here it is dilute sugar solution. Dilute sugar solution. Now you have to tell me how the water will move. How will it move? It will move from the region, here it is dilute sugar solution, right? So the grapes or the raisins are soaked in dilute sugar solution and the external medium is concentrated sugar solution. So the concentration of water molecule is more here and the concentration of water molecule is less here. So therefore, water molecules has to move out of the, right? It has to move from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Therefore, water molecules will move out of the resins. So when water molecules move out of the resin, what happens? The resins will shrink. That is when the hypotonic solutions, the resins swell, whereas the cells shrink in the hypertonic solution. That is how plasmolysis, that is how much amount of water moves out of the cell, depends on how the solution is, whether it is isotonic, hypotonic or hypertonic. So that is the concept behind plasmolysis. So here we shall study about how the cells respond during the process of plasmolysis when it is placed in different solution. Say for example, here there is a cell, it is a plant cell wherein we know that the plant cell has the cell wall and it has the plasma membrane, then the cytoplasm. So here the solution, here you can see the water is moving from the cell towards the external medium. So here the material or the water that is surrounding this particular cell, it is hypertonic. The solution is hypertonic. So hypertonic means here water molecules are less. Say for example, if it is a sugar is a solute here, means sugar molecules will be more. But inside the cell, the water molecules are more, the sugar molecule is less. So here, according to the theory, what it states, there is movement of water molecules from region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration. Therefore, where the water molecules are more, it will move from region of higher concentration to the region of the lower concentration. So what happens when the water molecules move out of the cell to the external medium? The cells will shrink. So that is why it is said in a hypertonic solution, the cells get plasmolysed. Means the cytoplasm, the plasma membrane, all that will shrink, leading to the reduction in the size of the cell. Therefore, it means the cells get plasmolysed in a hypertonic solution. Now talking about here, if the solution is isotonic. So isotonic means the concentration of the solution outside the cell and inside the cell is same. Therefore, what happens? The water molecules are both in the external environment surrounding the cell and inside the cell will be same. So, therefore, the net movement of water is equal to 0. Therefore, what happens? The cells will remain flaccid, means they will remain in their actual size. They will neither shrink nor they will bulge. So, that is about the isotonic solution. Next, talking about the hypotonic solution. So this solution is hypotonic. So what happens in hypotonic solution? It is a dilute solution wherein water molecules will be more and sugar molecules are less. So what happens here? Here it is inside the cell. Here what happens? It is concentrated. That is, the sugar will be more, water is less. So therefore what happens? From where the water molecules is more, it has to enter into the cell. The cells will imbibe water. It will take in water. Therefore when the water enters into the cell, what happens? It will bulge, which is called as turgid. Therefore the cells become turgid or it will swell when the surrounding medium is a hypotonic solution. So this is about plasmolysis. So next we'll study about one more important term called as imbibition, which also tells us about the movement of the water, that is the plant-water relationship. So imbibition is a special type of diffusion. So what is diffusion? It is the movement of water molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of the lower concentration, right? So it is a special type of diffusion wherein the water is absorbed by the solids and the colloids, causing them to increase in volume. So have you seen? That is, there are wooden doors in the house. During rainy season, you will not be able to close them properly. Why? Because the wooden doors would have swelled. Why they swell? Because the solids and the colloids that are present in the wooden door, they will absorb the moisture. So that is, they will imbibe. The wooden doors will imbibe. They will swell in the rainy season. So these are special type of diffusion when water is absorbed by solids, colloids, causing them to increase in volume or in size. So imbibition is also a type of diffusion, since here water molecule is occurring along a concentration gradient. Say for example, seeds. seeds, if you soak seeds, what will happen? The seeds will swell, right? Why? Because they are imbibing water. It is a process called as imbibition. So the seeds and other such materials have almost no water and hence they absorb water. So dry wood. So I gave you the example of the wooden door. So wooden doors, they are dry wood. Dry wood is used, like, right? Will the moist wood be used there? No, the dried woods are used for making furnitures, wooden windows and all that. Because they are completely dry inside, what happens whenever there is rainy season occurs, from the external medium, that is from the environment, they will start to absorb moisture, therefore increasing their size. Just like that, seeds also, dried seeds. So dried seeds, they also germinate. It is a very beautiful process, right? Can you imagine how a seed is dry and you can store them to many years. Where once you put them in water, they will germinate, right? The green gram, how do they sprout? It is so dry and hard. When you look at a green gram, dried green gram, can you imagine that will give out beautiful sprouts? No, we can't. But when you put them in water, what happens? Because inside they have no water at all or very minimal level of water, and outside the water molecules are more. The water molecules from higher concentration, it will move into the inside the seeds where the water molecule concentration is very less. So that is when they absorb water very easily, and therefore the water potential gradient between the absorbent and the liquid imbibed is essential for imbibition. And apart from that, in addition to this, for any substance to imbibe any liquid, to absorb any liquid, the affinity or the capability between the absorbent and the liquid is also a very important component. What is the capability of the absorbent? The absorbent shouldn't have moisture inside at all, whereas the external solution should have enough amount of moisture in it. Therefore, it will absorb the moisture. So that is the prerequisite here, wherein that is the absorbent, which is, say for example, the dry seeds, which have very minimal amount of water, and outside whenever moisture is available, they'll absorb the water and they will germinate. So therefore, the capability of the absorbent and the external medium plays a very important role in the imbibition process here, because external also, if there is no water, then the imbibition will not occur here. So this is about imbibition. So I hope you understood this session wherein we discussed about some important components which helps us to understand the transport of water in plants, therefore making it clear how the relationship between the plant and the water takes place, wherein we learned apart from diffusion and water potential, there are also various other processes which explains the transport of water in plants, such as the plasmolysis and osmosis, and also we learnt about one more kind of a diffusion which is called as the imbibition process. So this was about today's session. So in the coming session, we shall discuss about the long distance transport of water. So all these are short distance transport of water, right? But long distance transport of water, imagine how a water from the root can reach to all the other parts of a plant. So we shall study about that, and also we shall study about, that is, how water gets transported. There are two important pathways, that is apoplast pathway and symplast pathway. So all these we'll study in the coming session. So we shall meet again in the coming session. Thank you.